it comes to putting your speech together, a lot of people ask, clients will ask me all the time, Kwesi, what's the most important part of your speech? So, Deirdre, what is it? What's the most important part of your speech?
It is the opening, right? It's that first impression. People make a snap decision about you the moment they see you or hear you. And so whether we are coaching very seasoned keynote speakers, CEOs, or a brand new speaker or a new entrepreneur, we find that I would almost say 100% of the speakers. I don't know if I've met one yet, Kwesi. I mean, you even had a client, we had a client recently who was working with another speaking coach who was operating out of what I'm going to call the old paradigm when it
Yeah.
comes to how to open your presentation, right? So let's talk about the old paradigm and then let's talk about the new paradigm. If you want your audience literally leaning forward in their seat, hanging on every word and not scrolling through Instagram or text or thinking about, the next thing they're doing and locked and loaded onto you, please start operating from the new paradigm. So what's the
Absolutely.
old, Quasi? You want to talk about the old?
The unpleasant pleasantries, as the term goes. And here's the thing, when people come into a room, they have so many other things on their mind. They're walking in, they're sitting down, they're thinking about their day, they're thinking about their life, and there's this thought in their head, I have a few minutes before they get into the good stuff. And most speakers don't let them down when they have that expectation. They say,
Yeah.
hey, thanks for being here. How the weather's good, or the Buffalo Bills just lost, or something that everybody knows already,
Yeah.
and they don't get deep into grabbing the attention right away. And
Yeah.
if you can grab that attention right away, everything changes. The old paradigm is I'm just gonna kind of lead into it and I'll get into my content eventually. The new paradigm is I want to grab you right away. So, what are some of the ways we can use to do that?
Yeah. So first of all, so new paradigm is grabbing right away. Think headlines. You need to think about your opening like you would a headline or a title as you're scrolling through whatever your TikTok or Instagram or whatever you're doing, right? Usually there's something that grabs you so that you stop the scroll. So you want to stop the scroll in
Mm.
their brain. And so you've got to say something immediately, nothing before that. There's no thank you, great to be here, like Quincy said, blah, blah, blah. You literally take the stage. What I like to do, and Quasi, I'd like to hear how you do it. So I'll get introduced. I take the stage, turn to the audience. I usually just take a breath and I take a moment to really drink in these beautiful souls that are before me, that are blessing me with an hour of their precious time, right? The one commodity they can never get back is their time. And so I just take a moment to like smile at them and breathe that in. And usually that moment also breeds confidence. Like they're kind of looking at me because it's a little unusual to have silence. Most people are just jumping right in.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that alone is an attention grabber and shows confidence. And then I go into my opening line. And what I love, I'd like to hear what you think. What I love, my tried and true, and this is what we tend to both teach our clients, is a question, is opening with a question, right? Because the human brain cannot ignore being asked a what we call a you focused question, a question where you put the word you in the question. So I've been doing that strategy for probably the last 15 years. What about you? Maybe even
yeah.
20.
Yeah, a question, and it also gets them involved too. So you can say, raise your hand, and they're actually moving and they're paying attention to you right away. I love what you said about taking that moment to pause, because sometimes I've seen speakers, they're speaking as they're walking onto the stage, right?
Yeah.
Please welcome so and so. Hey, how you doing? Da, 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 and they're already talking. But if you
Yeah.
center yourself, you stand, you look, and you take it in, that alone sometimes gets people to say, okay, what's he going to say? Why is he not saying anything yet? It's almost like they're nervous, they're
Exactly.
leaning forward. And
Yeah.
it's so powerful. And just a note on the introduction part. Sometimes I'll coach a speaker that's giving a breakout session, and they don't necessarily have someone
Mm,
introducing them. They haven't planned for that. So they are introducing themselves, then going into their content. Avoid that at all costs. You get someone in your audience to introduce you if you can. There's been times where I'm doing
yes.
a breakout session and I'll have a Starbucks gift card and I'll say, you know what? Hey, we're new friends, right? Do you mind just reading this introduction for me? Here's a $10
It,
Starbucks gift card for your time. Then they introduce me, and I still get that like gravitas, that power to start the speech with my very first words having impact. So,
I
but
love that.
a question is what I normally do.
Yeah, so important to get someone to introduce you. Now, let's say you're in a situation. I'm going to follow that thread for a minute.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're in situations where, like, for whatever reason, there's just not someone who's going to introduce you, right? Like, let's just pretend there's nobody who's willing to help you. Then what you want to do is, if you're the person who has to call the group together, you call the group together. Hey, we're going to get started. Let's get going here. Blah blah blah. Right? And then when people are quiet, you don't say, "Hi, I'm Deirdre Van Nest. I'm the founder of Crazy Good Talks." Blah 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 blah. What you would do is you would ask your opening question, and then when there's a natural break in your thought process, you would say, "So that's what you're going to learn today, but first, let me introduce myself." Or
Mm,
first, you might be wondering who I am. Or first, if we haven't met each other, I'm Deirdre. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm the founder of Crazy Good Talks and blah blah blah, and let's go. Right?
mm.
So you still always want to put that open with a bang first.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do a lot of times I'll get clients to ask, what do I follow that with? Right? So they have the question, and what kind of question should it be? Right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's
they'll
talk
ask
about that for a
multiple
minute.
part questions, or they'll have a question. And I would say, okay, you want to get people agreeing with you with that question. So a
Yes.
yes question, a simple question. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with you. And so for me, I always say you want them agreeing with you. Now, let's just go a little deeper in this. So I used to think agreeing meant that they had to say yes, but I've changed my mind on that, Quasi. So what
Okay.
so agreeing could be no, but they're agreeing with you. Does that make sense? So, like,
Mm,
let me give you an example. So when I do my stand out and own the room every time you speak presentation, my first thing that I say, I have a slide with a super bored looking audience, and I say, raise your hand if you never want your audience to look like this. So they're basically saying, no, I don't want that, but they're agreeing with me. Does that make
yes,
sense?
they're relating
So
to it.
it's exactly. So you're asking them a question where you are relatable and they think you are like me. So
Mhm.
that's the agreement. It's they're agreeing with you. So that's one tenant to the question. I love what you said. The question should be as simple and as straightforward as possible. You don't want them to have to think to answer the question. You want them to react to the question. It needs to be a gut reaction question, not a, let me think about
Yeah,
that for a while. Let me think about that, right? For a while question. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then you've got to say the word you. You have to say you, because other than hearing their direct name, you is what they're going to respond to the most.
yeah,
What
yeah.
about you? Any other thoughts? Do you got anything else that you
And
want to say
yeah,
on that?
just and singular as well too, right? So it's not
Mm,
you all, or what does everybody think? What do you think? It's almost like you're talking to one person, ask them a question over a cup of coffee, and that's that direct one-on-one feeling that they're going to get from you is going to endear you to them as well, right? So you want to make sure that that's a simple question, and you want to give them time to think about the answer just for a second
yeah. Yes. Give them a beat.
and give them a beat to answer it, right?
Yeah.
What other parts, like I know we're not going to get into that, but we actually have a four-part process that we teach with opening your talk. Why is it so important to structure an entire opening to make it land with your audience as opposed to just that opening question?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan, and I believe you are too, of structuring the whole speech, quite frankly.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're saying everything word for word, but the whole speech should be structured, and you should practice it until it kind of gets into, like I always say, the marrow of your bones, right? It becomes second nature, because you're going to have a lot more confidence, and you're going to be able to go with the flow on stage. You're going to be able to react to what's going on. And I had a situation last week, like someone heckled me.
Mm.
It
And
was
it wasn't
like,
kids, it wasn't high school kids.
it wasn't high school kids. This was like a 50-year-old man. It
Oh
was
gosh.
really bizarre. So I asked my question, how much, I start my get to the yes quicker. If you watched our last video, I start my get to the yes quicker presentation, which is all about the power of your personal brand, why I care story. I start with saying, literally, I get on the stage, I take my pause, I take my beat, and then my first words out of my mouth is, how much do you like me? And I pause and it's rhetorical. Like everyone knows it's rhetorical. And this guy goes, well, I don't know. And then I said, how connected do you feel to me? And he says, not at all.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Can you even imagine? And so thank God that I knew where I was going because it definitely threw me.
Yeah.
And I'm an experienced speaker, right? I've been doing this for a long time. It definitely threw me, but I asked someone who was in the audience, someone from a speaker bureau, actually. I was like, could you, that I know. So I felt safe asking her, I'm like, could you tell I felt a little thrown off at the beginning, at the opening? She's like, not at all. And
Mm,
so, Kwesi, to me, that was the power of crafting the opening, practicing it, and knowing where I was going next
mhm.
because I was able to withstand being heckled and I knew I felt thrown off without looking thrown off.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, and that how you open your speech will lend that confidence to you to extend throughout the entire speech. So if you get that, you nail that opening, that's the good start you need to make the speech feel good all the way through. And we're not saying you have to memorize the whole 1 hour speech or 90-minute speech, but there are definitely spots where you want to nail it, know exactly what you're going to say, and the opening is one of those places for sure.
Yeah, let's do a video on that. Like, what are the places in the
Yeah.
speech
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you need to memorize and just completely,
Yeah,
completely
yeah,
nail,
we'll
pretty
we'll
much
do that.
word.
And there's a lot of coaches that say a lot of different things on it, so we'll have fun with that one. We'll definitely do that.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Sounds good. All right. I think we're good. What do you think? You got anything else to say?
Yeah, no, this is good. Just nail your opening, nail that first question, and you're gonna get them leaning forward and listening to every word you have to say.
Yeah. So go ahead and practice it. If this, if you like this video, please share it with a friend and we'll see you in the next video. Make it a crazy good day.